Well, good afternoon, my friends. It's me, Carpo. I'm here to make a quick video before I head out the door. Generally, these are the ones that I don't ever finish or upload because I feel like I'm rushed into making something. But when you're inspired, right? I guess most of you, if not all of you, would understand what I mean when I say you have to just kind of roll with it when your ideas come. And for me, that means inconvenient timing sometimes. And also inconvenient timing when I really want to talk about something, but I'm just not in the right mood, don't have the right demeanor. Maybe I had a couple drinks. Like, I'll do it next time. So some topics, though, just come to me out of the blue, and most of them do. But all of them do. But my hair is a little bit wet, not from water but from sweat, because I've actually been out in my backyard moving dirt and rocks with my wife, because as I've said before, we're trying to get our house fixed up to sell, and it's an ongoing project that's a lot of stress, a lot of effort, and meanwhile we're both working our jobs. And I had the day off, so I instead of getting a bunch of stuff done, I was lazy most of the day. But I finally got busy after a while. Not long enough, but I was listening to this podcast and it was resonating with some other ideas I had in my head. And I was thinking earlier about spiritual bypassing, which is it's kind of this novel term that I discovered however long ago, I guess probably a decade ago or so, when I first heard this term. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? And it's basically, using our spirituality as a crutch in a way. And I say this as a guy who I talk about these things sometimes, but I generally keep my own spiritual beliefs, my own, if for lack of a better term, um, and thoughts about the universe. Those are generally kept to myself because they're inexpressible, right? Ineffable. But let's just say that I'm definitely um, part of the community that is fascinated with these things, with understanding the deeper meaning of life. These experiences that I've had in my life are the ones that are more real than real, the ones that are more divine than divine, the ones that where you're in ultimate love and understanding. Nobody can cast a shadow of doubt on those experiences that they're real for me. I mean, I'm not, there's no like, maybe I was wrong or delusional, because so many other people have had these, what I'm talking about. And these epiphanies and these moments of clarity where you say, wow, what was that all about? And sometimes people get really caught up and raptured by these moments. They take it to the point where they end up, uh, well, spiritually bypassing, which is eliminating all your daily responsibilities. This can be throwing away everything you've built in order to go off and do your own thing and isolate in the mountains or whatever it might be. But it could also be something like saying, well, I don't have to be responsible in life because, I'm a spiritual being and I'm just going to, live my life moderately. And the point being, it was I was thinking about this guy who I used to listen to his podcasts, and his name is Aubrey Marcus. You may have heard of him, but he's well known in, quote, that I guess the alternative spiritual community, if you will. And I've listened to lots of his past podcasts where he had great guests and interesting interviews, but something started to just kind of go awry in my perception of him over the past several months. But it all culminated. I haven't listened to him in quite a while. I was like, it's just not for me, right? I mean, there was something about him that just seemed like he's had these amazing experiences. He's done not just psychedelic experiences. He's gone and he does breath work. He does all these. He's gone and I think he's isolated in a cave for 7 days in total darkness. Like a lot of people try all these different processes to try to find themselves. And I know a lot of people look at that as just woo and nonsense, but to me it's not. It's important stuff. It's how we find ourselves. But he recently, over the last like month, he came out with that he had this crazy ayahuasca trip and basically became convinced that his mission was to impregnate not just his girl. There's these two girls. I think it's Alana and I don't even know their names. I'm not interested in his personal life nor anybody else's. Like, I listen to the words of wisdom that come from his guests and him, and if there's anything I can gain, that's great. But generally, it's just very surface stuff. Because I've only discovered him a few months ago and quickly realized there's something weird about this guy. And the thing is, he's honest, he's straightforward. I believe in his heart, he believes the experience he had was real. But it was to impregnate both of these girls, right? And here's where, I don't usually talk about other people, but I figure this makes the best example, him, because this is the ultimate example of a guy who has spiritual truths and realities happen to him where he feels like he's in touch with the divine. He decides to share that. I think this guy's like Joe Rogan's cousin or brother-in-law or some shit. So he's like in the circuit. He's well known in the podcast circuit. But he started to get quite a following. And you see how these people who are just great podcasters end up having almost like a cult-like following. It's like people who are like, no, this guy is straight up, and this guy, he knows what he's talking about. It's important for us to always be humble and admit we just don't fucking know. We want to know, we try to understand what's going on in our lives. We try to understand what's going on in the universe. But honestly, deep down inside, we're figuring things out as we go. And Aubrey is too. So I understand this. But when he said, that he was told to impregnate two women, that's fine. That's his choice. I mean, hell, Joseph Smith and the Golden Plates led to Mormonism. Well, there's plenty of, let's just say there's plenty of polygamy in that realm too. And it's no less spiritual if you believe it is. That's the thing. But monogamy has always been the standard for most folks. This, doesn't mean that it's right for everyone, right? But what he poised it as wasn't just his personal path, but he called it a new evolution in like sexual spirituality or something like this. Like, as if, well, I feel this way and I can't control my own hormones. Therefore, I'm going to call it spiritual and say it's an evolution in consciousness. Like an evolution in consciousness. I'm sorry, my friend, but no. Your polygamy is not an evolution in consciousness. It's spiritual bypassing because you have sexual tendencies, which is normal and natural. But you think that the world is telling you that, the universe is telling you to be with these two women. Now, mind you, both of these women are very intelligent girls. They're on the young side. I mean, I guess he's a little younger too, but I don't know the age differences. But let's just say one of the girls, the girl who they're bringing into the fold, had just kind of, let's just say, a tentative past. And damn it, I'm gossiping now, and I don't want to do that. I needed to make the point here. This is this, to some people, a spiritual thought leader, trying to say, I'm going to rewrite the code for, everyone, not just myself, but, this is an evolution in spirituality. And I thought about how many people have done this, whether it's crystals or, some sort of new invention that's going to align your chakras. There's something true to spiritual nature, the experiences that we have. But to try to label them and sell them to other people and package them up doesn't work. But when it comes to other people and taking advantage of a power position as a spiritual thought leader to people, that to me is where it needs to be called out. So, it really, that situation got me thinking a lot about the harm that's been done to ourselves and the pain that we suffer from our history and our past, that sometimes we need to, spend years mending. And that just be careful who you listen to, be careful what advice you take, and don't let yourself get wrapped up in hiding away from what's important in order to get to this I guess, a place of complete, and utter, you're not going to attain a state of eternal bliss in this world. The suffering is all part of the experience. So we can't just continuously, have these experiences that pull us away from reality. At some point, we have to deal with reality. We have to do the work, which brings us back to the beginning, hauling the rocks, doing the hard shit. It sucks. None of us want to do it. None of us want to do the actual physical work and the hard work to keep a relationship going, and to raise kids and to do all the things that we've been doing for a very long time as human beings. So you can have your spirituality and eat it too, right? You can actually have an epiphany and an awareness about the universe and yourself, and then just get the message. And the message usually is do the work, because the most godly thing we can do is to get to work. Damn it, I need to tell myself that when I'm being lazy. Anyway, I gotta go now. My son's having his final cello concert tonight, his orchestra concert. So we're going to head out to the school and see that. It's never ending. There's always something to do. And if there ain't, then we're not doing it right. But it sure is nice to be lazy sometime and watch Netflix too. Be well.